Hello, Elizabeth here, and today I'm going to show you how I made this adorable, fully rhinestoned eyelash wine tumbler. Full disclosure, this took me about 20 hours to make. I was filming the process, which made it take extra time, but if you're not looking for a many-hour project, this is not for you. Every single rhinestone you see on this cup was hand-placed by yours truly. This is a beginner-friendly tutorial. Rhinestoning is a lot easier than you might think. The eyelash design is actually a vinyl sticker that I cut out with my Cricut and then rhinestoned right over top of, so it doesn't take too much artistic talent. If you don't have a Cricut machine, don't worry, there are tons of vinyl decals for sale on Etsy that you can order already made for you. I started with this rose gold wine tumbler that I bought from Shein. It was $11, I'll link it in the description. It's made of stainless steel and it's vacuum sealed. It has a sliding closure and a hole that's big enough to stick a straw into. You want the color of your cup to match your rhinestones as closely as possible so that the tiny spaces in between your rhinestones aren't noticeable. My rhinestones are pink, so this color worked great. You can also paint your cup a different color and seal it before rhinestoning, but I will not be doing that in this video. I started by finding the image I wanted to use on my cup, and I chose this image of these cute eyelashes and uploaded it to Cricut Design Space, removed the white background, and made it a nice clean cut file. Next, I took a tape measure and measured the width across the front of my tumbler. The space I can see from the front is about 4 inches wide, so I just drew a sample of the eyelash graphic on a piece of paper about 4 inches wide and placed it on my cup to test out that sizing. I was happy with the way that looked on my cup, so I sized the graphic in Cricut Design Space to be about 4 inches wide, and then I selected the premium vinyl setting and made sure my fine point blade was loaded in clamp B and cut this design out of black vinyl. Next, I prepped my tumbler. Anytime you rhinestone a tumbler, you want to take some sandpaper and rough up the entire surface of the cup. This will help your rhinestones to adhere to it better. Then you want to give it a wipe with some alcohol to remove the dust and any grease or dirt that could be on the surface of the cup. Next, I transferred the eyelash sticker to the tumbler. I actually just used some basic packing tape as transfer tape and it worked great. Apply your transfer tape to the front of the sticker and then use a gift card or an old credit card to press out any bubbles and to make sure that your tape is really on there. Peel off the vinyl backing and you should be left with just the vinyl sticker on your tape. Place it on your cup and then again give it a good scrape with that gift card to stick it to the cup. Peel off your transfer tape and the sticker should be the only thing left on the cup. And now you are ready to bling. For rhinestoning, I use this glue called Gem Tac and it's by a brand called Beacon. I like to transfer it into this little precision tip bottle, which gives me a ton of control. I got both of these on Amazon, but they are also available at craft stores. For the rhinestones, I used a pack with assorted sizes of black rhinestones and a pack with 3 different sizes of pink rhinestones. Both of these were from AliExpress, which is pretty much your cheapest option for rhinestones in bulk. I will link them in the description. This wax pencil is what I used to pick up and place the rhinestones. It was literally $1 on Shein and it is so much better than the $12 fancy one I have from Amazon. It came flat on the end like this and I just sharpen it like a pencil. So we're gonna rhinestone right over the vinyl sticker with the black rhinestones. I like to squeeze out a bit of glue and then gently spread a thin layer around using the nozzle of the bottle. Then you're gonna pick up and place the black rhinestones one by one onto that glued area, just placing the assorted sizes randomly, kind of playing Tetris as you go to get as much coverage as possible. You might want to be a super perfectionist about this, but it's totally fine for there to be a bit of space in between your rhinestones. The vinyl matches the color, so the spaces are going to look totally fine. That being said, it does take a bit of rearranging to figure out the best placement for them, so I tend to do a lot of nudging around after I place each stone. The nice thing about the Gem Tac glue is that it dries slowly, so if you need to rearrange things, you can do it really easily. I like for the outline to look perfect so that you get a nice clean edge, but you can be a little more relaxed with the spacing on the inside. The way I'm arranging the stones is called the scatter method, which just means that the placement is random and doesn't follow a pattern. But I do find that using small stones on the outer edge and larger stones on the inside works well for me. I also like to work section by section, and I make sure all my stones are placed nicely before adding more glue to the next area. You can see that there is some of that white glue visible in between my stones. That's totally normal and it will dry completely clear. You don't want a huge mess of glue everywhere, but a little spillage in between is no biggie. You don't want to have too little glue either, or your stones will come off easily. Here's what one eyelash looked like when it was fully rhinestoned, and then I repeated the same thing over on the other eyelash, and this is the result. Thanks to the vinyl sticker, the edges look nice and clean and the spaces are filled in, but we get that nice sparkle from the rhinestones as well. Now we're starting on the pink. For the base color of your cup, you want to start in the area around your design to make sure it gets outlined properly. I started in the space in between the eyelashes, and the technique is the same. Just pick up and place your assorted sizes of rhinestones and try to fill the spaces as much as possible. You'll start to get a feel for the stone sizes you're working with, and it will get easier to recognize what size stone should fit in each gap. I continued filling the space around the eyelashes until both lashes were fully surrounded by pink stones. You want to have a nice line around the top edge of the cup so that it looks straight and so that the lid fits into it without any of the rhinestones interfering. So I did that top edge next instead of working my way up to it. I only have 3 sizes of the pink stones, so my strategy here was big stone, medium stone, big stone, small stone, and repeat. So it did have a bit of a pattern to it, but it still has that random scattered vibe, and it will be easy to fill the spaces in between with that scatter method. I kept testing with the lid as I went to make sure that the vacuum seal could still fully close. And here's how that top edge looked when it was finished. Then I continued filling the space between the lashes and the top edge of the cup using that same scatter method. It gets a little bit trickier to fit things perfectly as you meet the top edge, but don't panic if there's a little bit more space between some of the stones than others. I promise it will look great when everything is done. Rearrange if you need to, but don't lose your mind over it. Next, I moved on to the bottom edge of the cup, and again, we want it to sit flat on the table without any interference. So I did that same big, medium, big, small pattern along the bottom of the cup and kept testing it to make sure it sits flat. Once you've got your design finished and the top and the bottom edges are done, the rest of the cup is pretty straightforward. Just keep filling the spaces. I turned my cup sideways just for a change of scenery and continued working on the cup this way. My advice as you fill in the rest of the cup is to use as many of your biggest size stones as possible, and just use the smaller ones as fillers. Bigger stones means you're covering more surface area and working faster, and you don't have any tiny details of the design to fit around anymore, so it just makes your life easier. This is a great project to do while binging a show on Netflix because you don't have to think too hard about it after a while. I watched most of How to Get Away with Murder while making this cup. Once you start to close in that final gap, it gets a bit trickier again, but just a reminder not to stress too hard about making them perfectly fit tightly together. You can leave a little bit of space and it's going to look gorgeous, I promise. This last part is so satisfying. That's it, she's done. Just a couple of little aftercare notes. Firstly, you want to let the glue cure for 7 days. Then you can give it a good scrub with a nail brush or a vegetable brush to clean off any glue residue or wax from your wax pencil. Always hand wash your rhinestone tumblers. If you rhinestone a cup, please tag me on social media. I would love to see it. I hope you found this tutorial helpful. If you'd like to see more rhinestoning tutorials or more Cricut tutorials, please subscribe to my channel and leave a comment letting me know what you'd like to see next. See you later.